Hey, what's happening, gamers? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Donkey Kong. Hopefully you guys having a good one. And thank you to Bobbert today for giving us a $100 super chat. That really helps a lot from that one day that we're still trying to make up. We're a few $100 down this month, so by the end of the month I will be pushing for stuff. But not today. So we're in the feast layer, I believe. And it doesn't look like we're going to finish this game before Mario comes out, so probably just be one stream of Donkey Kong tomorrow, and that will be after Amber and I are going to play the Mario Mario Party thing together at 3. And then Donkey Kong will be after that, and then I'll probably look at the other game that comes out that day. But I've just been having a whirlwind of stuff happening to me lately that I don't even know how to explain. I've had 2 instances where I've woken up sharply with not chest pain, but like a really bad racing heart. It happened last night. In the movie theater it happened too. But also, our movie theater experience was terrible. Like, the movie wasn't bad, but it did sully the experience, so... The I don't know if Amber told you this, but the theater that we used to go to, they now serve alcohol, so there were drunk people. They built a brand new bar, and people were eating, like, fancy food, and they were drunk out of their mind. And they yelled at us, like, in the movie, because I was very quietly explaining characters to my wife, like I always do at the movies. And there was this lady that was just, she was... she was wasted beyond anything. So we're not going to be driving to that theater that's 40 minutes away anymore. That used to be our favorite theater too.
Yeah, that sucks because that was our favorite theater. We're never gonna go there again. Because it's like drunk people ruin the entire experience.
Yep.
And you don't even see any kids there and no families or anything. It's just a bunch of drunk people. Angry drunk people there.
We saw Superman, so it kind of ruined Superman for me, some parts of it. And the movie was okay, but it's just that stuff really made it.
Yeah.
My first one.
And I mentioned how, like, I didn't really want to, like, I just said how I had a bad experience. I mean, some people are like, well, that's a video game. If I make a video saying my actual thoughts on a movie, I mean, I'll say it now because Luke is here. I don't know what Luke feels about the movie, but after we watched it, I said that I would watch Zack Snyder's Man of Steel 14,000 times over watching this movie.
Well, the only reason Amber says that is because, like, usually when she has a question about a character or she's trying to understand how a movie's going, I tell her. And then she's like, oh, I understand. I like this more. And we had this lady who was behind us that every time I tried to say something, she went, shh.
Yeah, but then she talked through the whole
But then
movie.
she talked through the whole thing. She was laughing like a drunk, yeah. So, you know.
She was a word I can't say.
Oh, she was definitely that word.
I mean, if it was my only day off, otherwise I would have, I mean, I really wanted to be like, do you want to leave? Because, like, I think we should have just gotten up and gotten our money back.
Yeah, there was also numerous times during the showing that the movie itself cut out.
Yeah,
so
we missed, like, at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, we missed at least 10 minutes of the movie because all we could hear was sound. Because the theater had quote-unquote problems.
What I feel like it was karma for that lady, because she was worried about me saying one thing. Like, I said one thing at the beginning, like, oh wow, 33 years.
And the thing is,
and
like...
she was mad for missing 1 second of the movie, even though I said it extremely quiet.
Yeah.
Then she missed 15 minutes of the movie later, and she didn't say anything. Yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, usually when Amber and I talk through movies, we're not very loud.
No, I've never had anyone ever say anything to me. Like, literally, I'm extremely quiet. And then she was extremely loud. That's what I was annoyed at.
can do this one. This might be one I can't do.
But I mean, there was a lot of things that I like. I can't.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about the movie. It was just, we'll talk about it like this weekend. We'll do an Injustice video or something. But it definitely sullied the experience. Like, I don't think the movie was terrible, but I don't think it was as engaging as people said it was. Like, without getting into the plot. I think that it was, like, I enjoyed it as a summer blockbuster, and it was like, wow, this feels like movies from the 2000s, but it didn't feel like it didn't feel like this big grandiose thing that people were explaining to me.
I would put this movie on the same level as, you know, that movie in the 2000s where that girl, her power is a bowling. She's a bowling person, and that one guy, oh my gosh, that one guy, his power is getting angry. I forgot what that movie was.
No.
Yes,
No.
yes, I
Okay.
put this movie on the same level as that movie. That's the level. That is the level that I feel. That is the level of humor and everything that I feel this movie was. It was just very zany and weird.
I was gonna grade it more like it.
2000s
No.
humor.
I was gonna grade it more in line with the first two X-Men movies by Fox, X-Men and X-Men 2. Like it had
Being generous.
no, it had that same type of energy, and also the very first Fantastic Four movie. Like that's what Superman felt to me. It had.
I think the Fantastic Four movie was better than this. The 90s Fantastic Four movie.
It wasn't.
From the clips that I've seen.
Wasn't the 90s.
Oh, well, 2000s. Sorry. But from the clips I've seen, I mean, even Jessica Alba, when she was talking to that one guy who was threatening her, at least there was acting going on.
Well, without getting into plot, because I want to save that, I'll just explain like the directors. So, in the 2000s, there were movies where you would have a scene that was resonating and these were Marvel movies, like both X-Men and not Spider-Man. Like Sam Raimi didn't used to do this, but some of the other directors, like Bryan Singer, he did this in Superman Returns and other things, where you have this scene that's resonating, and you're really getting into it, and the characters are like, you know. Really adding something to what's happening. And then all of a sudden, there's something that completely takes the scene apart. In this case, it's Crypto. And it happens so much in the movie. It's like I'm really trying to get into these characters and, you know, hoping that James Gunn is going to let the scene breathe. And then all of a sudden, it's like everything falls apart because Crypto just goes...
For me, I felt like this movie felt like a report in which you have to do a last minute 50-page report or something for high school, and every time you didn't research enough in a certain section of the report, you just put a picture, and that was Crypto. Like it was like, oh, and I don't know, why do you feel like this? Why do you always hate me? And then suddenly there's no ending to the scene. Crypto just goes and bites somebody.
But here's
like,
the thing.
There's never a conclusion to anything that people are talking about because Crypto randomly comes in all the time.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't like that. Like, I thought Crypto was cute, but in terms of like letting like an emotional scene resonate and just like, you know, letting the characters have a chance to breathe when there's already been like either constant action or comedy or something like that. You need those. I agree with Jeremy Jahns, like the famous movie critic. You need to have elements of the movie that is allowed to breathe and like walk on its own, so that people get to know these characters, like they did with Mr. Terrific in the film.
Yeah.
And they don't let the movie breathe. That's why I'm saying it feels like one of those old X-Men or Fantastic Four movies, because those films have aspects of them where something is really important that's happening. And then all of a sudden, like some kid with an ADD thing, it just completely falls apart.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be offensive to you. I felt like the film had ADD.
Yeah.
It was like, and
it's like if I made a movie.
It's like, and this is why we need to help the galaxy because of this important thing. And it's like, why though? It's not our job. It's like, what it is. Come on, guys, let's be a team and help it. And then it's like, oh, look, a squirrel. It's like,
There was a literal squirrel in the movie.
Yeah, it's like so, it was like, it reminds me of reports I've done when I was younger where I just threw everything in. I jumbled all my sentences together and just threw it in just typed everything I had hurriedly in 5 hours the night before when I was supposed to be doing the report for 5 months. And I did it in 5 hours, and I just threw all the sentences together and then just handed it to my teacher. And that's what the film felt like to me.
Yeah,
It was just randomly thrown in.
Right, but when and that's James Gunn's humor. That's the problem I've had with Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it does the same thing, but it worked in a sense because Peter is insane.
Yes, and that's the problem with this movie. That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, the problem with this movie is this is not Peter Quill.
Right, it's Superman.
He's actually supposed to be a serious character.
Well, let's
was very upset about that.
Let's
and
walk.
I was like, wow.
Let's walk that back a little bit because our favorite Superman is Dean Cain, and Dean Cain joked as Superman.
Yeah, but
there
he was also
were
serious.
right, and there are times that David is serious too, and he does joke, and I think that his Superman worked well. The problem is Crypto didn't work with this Superman because Crypto, as most dog owners will tell you, is he wasn't even the dog's owner. So Crypto was a very bad behaved puppy. And the problem is James Gunn is a huge dog lover. That's why he really liked the Crypto the Super Dog movie, that The Rock did.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
We
did
have
hear
to
that
blame.
He was inspired by that.
We have to blame The Rock because The Rock was the one that made the Crypto movie, and James Gunn really wanted to put in so much Crypto. And if you didn't like Crypto, the Supergirl movie is going to have even more Crypto.
I'm fine with it being the Supergirl movie because
She's his own.
she's not as serious as
No.
Kal-El is.
But at the same time, there were aspects of the movie that I loved, and it was like, oh my gosh, this feels like traditional superhero movies from when I was in college.
There were some good parts of it, but I feel like it didn't go together as a whole.
Right, that's because it's trying. James Gunn's type of humor is, I swear the man has ADD because there's
Maybe
parts
he
probably does. There's parts of the movie that resonate and they do very well, and then there's other moments where everything just falls apart like a whole dominoes tower. You know how people or Jenga or something like that. When all the wood things are piling up against each other or whatever.
There's a person. That person needs to be banned. Hi, do you, sir?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I got. Thank you for letting us know about that. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's how I felt about it. It was like, if that lady wasn't being such a very annoying lady, I probably would have gotten to enjoy the movie a little bit more and explain to Amber certain characters and plots.
To watch it with that lady there.
Yeah, because I think
I
that
just felt like leaving.
the Justice League characters were great. I thought that how they handled them and how they worked as a team and, how they're all relatively new with this whole, superhero thing, that worked. And, Nathan being a jerk like Guy Gardner, he was Guy Gardner. It's just there were some other parts of the movie that are very weak, and unfortunately some of those moments are Superman and Lois moments. So, you can't really do much about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing that you said, that you didn't like some of the steamy scenes. Some of the steamy scenes were cut overseas because even those people said the Lois and Clark kissy face was too much.
I did not like that it was and I don't want to spoil the movie, but it's it was too much eating each other's mouth. It was disgusting. It was absolutely, it made me feel like throwing up. And they weren't even living together. At least they'd only known each other 3 months, and at least in the Man of Steel they were living together in a committed relationship.
They were living together in BVS.
And also in that they did a tender moment where they were in the bathroom or whatever, but that's kind of a tender thing. Eating each other's face is not tender. It's disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. There was too much disgusting stuff in it.
I've also noticed there's one thing that James Gunn does a lot. If you go back and you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, one of the characteristics of Marvel films that I cannot stand is how characters randomly fight for a long period of time, and it's not just like a 4-minute scene
like
and then it's done.
And
It's a fight that continues the entire movie.
Yeah.
And then at the very end they make up. It's like,
yeah, I don't
that's
like
not realistic.
that because like literally like some of the fighting stuff, like if you and I ever would even get into an argument like how Lois and Clark were, we would feel terrible about it for like months. There's no way. Like it was just a normal thing for them. Like, oh, we're just gonna argue over it. It's like, and then we're gonna suck, you know, face off or whatever. It's like, it's just disgusting. Like the whole thing.
Suck face and then argue.
It was just sick. It was absolutely sick. I felt like throwing up.
Right, but other countries agreed with you, and India and a couple places thought the Lois and Clark stuff was too much, so
it was more than too much.
They edited it.
It was thousands of miles beyond too much. Even if you took away half of it, it would still be too much. Even if it was only a 100th of what it would be too much.
Right. But that's why I'm saying,
so
because
much.
there was a lot of, we'll say, fan service in the early 2000s superhero movies, and that's what kind of this movie felt like a little bit sometimes. But at the same time, I think it achieved what it did. I like the movie more than I like Superman Returns. I don't know where I'd put it, like with the Henry Cavill Superman movies, because for one, I didn't get to see all the big compelling moments because we had a jerky lady behind us, so it was very distracting. So I will need, I don't know where she was. I need to see the movie again.
I felt like taking her outside and like literally going in the parking lot and beating her up.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
You'd get arrested.
I was just like, I will literally like
do
not start with me. Like this is my only day off. Do not even.
Yeah, she ruined your day off.
I felt like literally, and I was thinking like, do not go to jail, Amber, because I was literally about to like throw hands or whatever they say. Because I was really mad.
Well, this is why you don't, like I was telling people before, it's a bad idea, and I know what theaters are trying to do is they're trying to attract a new group of people to come to the theater, but when you incorporate a bar,
the trash of society.
Yeah, because these people are not really here to watch the movie. They're there to get drunk early in the day and, you know, get happy hour like at, what was it, 11 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, exactly. She was like drunk at 11 a.m. So stupid. Literally, they should have carried her out with security. I wish I could have reported her, get her banned from the theater. Yeah, it was just very uncomfortable. Like the whole thing, there's so much uncomfortable moments.
No, they have left. They just keep coming back. They have, yeah, I don't know where this one banana is.
There were so many things. There were so many times, like in the movie, that I was just shaking my head and face palming so much.
Right, but I could have helped you with some aspects of the movie.
And I was just so uncomfortable, and it was so weird, and I was just like, I was just thinking to myself, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't like this. This is making me feel uncomfortable. I don't like this, and I want to leave. That's how bad it was for me. That's how bad the movie was for me. Like, I literally did not leave, but I wanted to leave. I did not like many parts of this movie at all. Like, I disliked them so much that I wanted to leave. That's how bad it was. And like, I didn't leave, but I'm guaranteeing you, if Luke wasn't in the theater with me, I probably would have walked out of the movie. That's how bad it was for me. So, and that, I've only done that like twice. Once was the live action Mowgli movie. And I walked out of there because Christopher Walken was too scary for me. It was very disturbing.
But I would need to see the movie again, like in my own, like, I have a feeling that one theater that's, because it doesn't have alcohol, I guarantee there'll be no people there, but the problem is the movies don't stay around very long. Like, they're only here for a little while, and then they leave the theater. And the Fantastic Four is tomorrow, so that means there's going to be less showings of Superman. And what they're going to do is, Superman's going to move from the matinee times, which is what we like going to usually, and they're going to move him to like 3 or 7 o'clock at night. and that's going to limit, you know, his box office as well. It's like right now it's still available to see Superman between 10 in the morning and like 10 o'clock at night. But once Fantastic Four comes out after Fantastic Four's first weekend, you're going to see less showtimes for Superman because Superman's not performing well. And you're going to see more showtimes for Jurassic Park and the Fantastic Four. So, you know, both of those films releasing in July was not good because Superman's not really going to have a lot of legs. And the reason why Aquaman did really well and BVS did really well is those were in theaters for a long time. You know? But I don't see the Superman movie lasting in theaters that long. It's already been over 2 weeks, I think. And the fact that we couldn't get a morning showing, like, if we could have gotten a 9 a.m. showing, it would have been much better than a noon one because, like, they were serving alcohol, they were doing all this other stuff. It was just really bad. Really sullied the experience.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask them about getting our money back, like...
Yeah, because we missed 15 minutes of the
We missed
thing.
about 15 minutes of the movie, yeah. And it was so unprofessional too, because it's like I can't think of any movie theater that we ever went to where the theater actually had it cut out. Like, that's the type of error you see if somebody's like bootlegging a movie. Like, if you've ever seen like a movie that is on the internet, there are parts of it where it will cut out because you know it's a shady thing. So I felt like we were at a place that now was like really overly focusing on the alcohol.
Yeah.
And they weren't really playing the movies
and
anymore.
And also the employees were really weird too.
That's what happens when you include alcohol. Like, those establishments are very, you know.
It feels like you're down in like the red light district or something.
I mean, I don't like bar culture, so I don't go to bars. So I don't want that at my movie theater. So I will not be going there. Like, I have no reason to. I'm just gonna go to the theater that's, you know, local near the H&R Block because it's just a movie theater.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's horrible to mix alcohol with movies.
So when the Naked Gun movie comes out in August, I'm just going to our older theater that's near us because, for one, I don't want to drive 45 minutes in traffic like with Philadelphia and stuff like that.
We thought it was going to be a really good theater, and it was just not.
Yeah, the people were just like drinking like crazy. It's disappointing. Because I was really... Because when I go into a DC movie, I really need to critique it and talk to you and, you know, plan out my thoughts and things like that. And I didn't get to do that. Like, I felt like my theater experience was robbed because I didn't get to be myself. And I had this constant lady coming over my head or wherever she was, pushing me every time I tried to say something. And I wasn't even disrupting the theater. Yeah, it was nuts. Because I've been doing the same thing at movie dates with you for like over 20 years. Never had... There was that one girl at that theater in Philadelphia, that one black girl, who was really giving us two, like, was it 10 years, or like 6 or 7 years ago. And she was plastered out of her mind, actually. Like, it was for that Dragon Ball Z movie we went to go see.
Oh, I didn't even realize there was somebody in
Yeah,
there. she
was like getting her head in our face, and she was like really... I don't know what crawled up her butt and died that day, but she was just like on... And eventually she left the Dragon Ball Z movie, and when she left, like, people clapped. Because she was very disruptive. But that's the only time I can think of that we really ran into a rude theater goer. And today was like a, I don't know, 60-year-old grandma, like white lady that was just like completely blasted out of her mind. With literally, she had a pint of alcohol.
From what I saw, she was there alone.
Yeah, she was there alone. She was drinking. Yeah.
That's what I thought was weird. Is like, if I was there alone, I wouldn't be starting an argument with people.
And that's what alcohol does.
Oh, thank you, Spider Keith, for the super chat. Thank you very much. And the highlighted. Thank you, Princess Emmy, for renewing your membership. Spider Keith says, I saw Superman 3 times, and I thought it was really good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, everyone has a different opinion. They serve it in the theater, David.
Yep, they serve alcohol in our theater now, which we're not going back to.
Yeah, it's completely ruined that theater. That theater used to have families in it and
nice seats.
And people used to be like, have a nice day and really nice. But now people are really jerks and like people are just really mean. And that's what alcohol does to you. But honestly, to be completely honest, coffee does the same thing to people. Not as bad as alcohol.
You have to have a lot of coffee.
Coffee does do that.
If you're hanging out with people in a coffee bar, then yeah, they're gonna start to mimic like an alcoholic. But like, the lady had a pint that looked like, you know, one of those. I don't know if you've ever been in an Irish pub, but like the serving of alcohol that they give you in those places was about what I was seeing, like some of these people who were like 60, 70, 50, and late 40s, like, I saw no kids at that Superman show. At all.
Yeah, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Kids were probably at a theater where there wasn't any alcohol.
Maybe, I mean, maybe we had to go to the IMAX. Because there was an IMAX thing, but I don't like IMAXs. I just prefer regular theaters. But all I can say is, like, we've been going to that theater for 10 years. We're never going back.
Well, thank you very much for the super chat or highlighted message. Thank you for the super chat, Spider Keith.
Let's see. We were always here, honey. You can go to sleep.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, DK, you awake?
Mm.
I'm gonna borrow your necktie, okay? I wanna try this bad boy on. Just have to tie it like you do. So, Oh, is it like this? Oops, that's not it. Loop, then tuck, then... Oh, this is hard. I don't get it, DK. How do you tie this thing with those huge hands of yours? Fine. I give up. For now. Good night.
I'll look for your super chat, Daffy. One sec.
Refreshed and ready to go.
How many moons you collected in Mario Odyssey? I don't know how many moons we collected.
I'm just curious what countries censored all that extreme, like, overt kissing from Lois and Clark.
India, the Middle East, China.
I wish I would have seen it somewhere there, because I think they should have censored it in every country, because it was gross.
Well, there was a bunch of reshoots that happened because audiences didn't like the version that they saw. And so Warner Brothers changed some things. And originally they removed a lot of the Lois and Clark romantic moments, or they made them subtle. Like if there was
call it romance, it was more gross.
They removed some stuff. James Gunn, in his defiance, he put them back in. All the things that the public was not okay with, Lex crying, the squirrel, the Lois and Clark, like, extended kissing scenes, the 8-minute argument in the movie. Like,
well, people said they didn't like it, and those were all the things I didn't like.
Right.
Those were exactly the things that I said I didn't like.
Right.
Everything you listed, those were the exact problems I had with the movie.
Yeah, the squirrel and things like that. So there were little things that the public, and even David Zaslav, like, told him to cut out. Like, because David is his boss. so what happened was, I think a week before the movie came back, he put in polished versions of those scenes that audiences did not resonate with. And he believe it or not, they were longer before. So he put in, quote, edited versions of those scenes that people wanted taken out. And, like, that's... Most of the things that people complain about the movie are essentially the same as what people said about the test screening.
They were asked to take out in the first place.
Exactly. And so other countries were like, okay, so you put that stuff back in? Well, we're taking them out. So, India, Middle East, China, a couple of Asian countries, very conservative countries took that. Link, what are you eating?
I wouldn't even call that conservative. I would just call that normal.
No, I'm saying, but there are countries with conservative cultures. Yeah. They also took it out. Yeah. Or they limited it. They didn't completely, like, remove the kissing, because, you know, they're straight cultures, but, like, they toned it down.
I wouldn't even call that kissing. If somebody tried to kiss me like that, I would think that they were, like, assaulting me. Like, that is not kissing what was happening. Like, that was beyond kissing.
But that's what happened. It's funny to me, usually when they do test screenings are done in order to tell the audience, hey, if this doesn't work, fix this, and your movie will get better. So, maybe we'll see some of the... James Gunn, the thing is, he likes to argue with everybody. He's a keyboard warrior himself. Like, he says he doesn't like toxic culture, but he's toxic himself.
Right.
Like, he'll actually go to somebody that has barely any following, and they might have gotten, like, maybe 10,000 views off a rumor, and he immediately shuts them down, and he goes and grabs the clout, because he's just not a nice person, right?
Right.
Like, he messes with YouTubers and, like, Twitter influencers and, like, all this stuff all the time when he should be focusing on making his movies. So he's like, not just a professional director, but he feels like a professional troll, too. Like, he's always fighting with people online. Like, I had to unfollow the guy because he's so crazy.
What I didn't like about the movie was it felt very angsty, and it just didn't even feel... It didn't feel uplifting or wholesome at the end of it. It just felt like, well, that happened, and now I'm gonna go on with my day.
Yep, one sec.
It was just weird.
Did you notice how ostriches are even faster than zebras when they run? Wait, is it rude to point that out? Forget I said anything. They're both fast. Good night. Refreshed and ready to go.
Okay, so... hamburger. Oh, here we go.
I liked how Superman saved the squirrel because it shows he cares about everyone at this game.
Yeah, but most people hate that scene. That's the problem. Like, the squirrel was cute and everything, but it did make the scene... You don't want to make the scene drag on, because there was already a lot happening in that scene. It's like... How do I say it? There was so much happening in that scene to begin with that they really should have toned it down.
I mean, it was kind of memorable.
I mean, I won't forget the scroll, but, I mean, there was already so much stuff happening to begin with that it was just kind of unnecessary. And it was asked to be cut out of the movie originally. Oh, I gotta be an elephant!
Yeah, I think Jalen was asking, now that you've seen this movie, what's your favorite Superman movie?
My favorite Superman movie would probably still be the one from the 70s.
Probably the original was a movie, and then Dean Cain was the second.
Dean Cain wasn't a Superman movie, though.
And honestly, I would probably, like, after watching this movie, it makes me want to watch, what is it, James Ralph? I want to watch his Superman movie, because
Who's James Rowe?
I don't know. What was that guy who played in Chuck movie?
Brandon Rao?
Brandon Rao. Yeah. So.
You didn't like Superman Returns.
I think I would now after watching this because like.
No, he and Lois have a baby and he abandons her. You hated that.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you were really mad at that.
Never mind.
I took you to see that when we got married. You hated that.
Oh wow. So I guess I wouldn't like.
Yeah, he has a kid out of wedlock and then he abandons her, and like most people didn't like that. It wasn't a very Superman thing to do. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do these last puzzles. I usually can, but I don't think I can this time around.
Let's get going.
That's a bummer. Oh well. You need to try to get some sleep. Okay.
Let's go.
Trapped filled towers. Here we go. Yep, but I have a review going up for you guys on Friday. I'll be talking about the good and the bad, but I just wanted to talk about the director style, because that's what the problem was. I was being very technical with stuff. I wasn't really talking about the movie as a whole. I was just talking about it like in terms of like someone who enjoys going to the movies. There's just a lot of problems with how they presented the movie, but I thought a lot of aspects of the movie was good. But I don't know where I would place it with the other Superman movies yet, because I didn't really get to enjoy the movie the first time. It needs a second viewing, but based on our schedules and also what's going to happen in the theaters is I don't think this movie's going to stick around at a time that will be possible for Amber and I to go see it again, because it's not going to have a good when there are movies that are underperforming, what they do in the theaters is they give them really bad time slots, and Amber and I are only available in the morning or the early afternoon, like at noon. So, you know, that's why we usually see a movie after 2 weeks it's been in theaters, is because we can get that like noon or 1 o'clock or even like 11 o'clock time slot, which we prefer because then we don't miss work and all this other stuff. But when movies don't do well, theaters move them to really bad time slots for us that we can't take off because those are streaming times. So I probably won't get to see the Superman movie again until it releases on Blu-ray. Which is a bummer, but there's not much I can do with it about my schedule. So, that type of movie, you need to see it twice. Because there are parts that worked and there were parts that didn't. But that type of movie, just like BVS, I needed to see a couple times before I was able to be like, okay, this is what's going on with this movie. Because there's a lot that's happening in that Superman movie. Like, they used to say that Zack Snyder's stuff was overstuffed. This thing was like Thanksgiving. There was so much happening. And, you know, I understand what they're trying to do is this is the first movie in this new universe, so they're introducing as many characters as possible, but it's the same problem I had with how Joss Whedon did things, is it's overstuffed with characters, and some of these characters don't have any breathing room. Some characters they did good with, you know, for the limited amount of time that they were in it. But the ones that really did well with the audiences are people like Mr. Terrific, because he's in the movie a lot. I wanted to like Hawkgirl, but we don't see very much of her. You know? Yeah, the standout was Mr. Terrific, as Amber said from upstairs. I agree. I hope we get more projects with Mr. Terrific because I really liked his character. He felt like how he was written in the Justice League like cartoon show. Like I feel like if they would have spent more time on other characters the way that Mr. Terrific was, this movie would have like a higher place in the Superman movies for me. But I think based on my first theater experience, I would probably put it number 3. It would probably go Superman 2 for me, Man of Steel, Superman, so this one, and then the Christopher Reeve Superman, and the Superman Returns after that. Superman Returns is pretty low, but it's not as low as Superman 3 and 4. I did not like Superman 3 and 4. So I think that would be my top 5. Superman 2, Man of Steel, Superman 2025, Superman 1978, and then Superman Returns. I don't count BVS as a Superman movie because Superman doesn't have top billing in the movie. It's called Batman v Superman. So in my mind, since Batman is first, and Batman's logo is bigger than Superman's, I don't see it as a Man of Steel 2. I see it as this is an introduction to Batman. Batman v Superman was Ben Affleck's Batman movie. It just was an ensemble piece. Like, it was an ensemble cast. Kind of like how Captain America Civil War wasn't an Avengers movie. It was a Captain America movie with lots of Avengers in it. That's how I see BVS. BVS was a Batman movie where Ben Affleck's Batman had more screen time than Superman, but Superman played a big role in the movie as another character in BVS. But it was, at its core, a Batman movie. Think back at all the cool stuff that Batman did in BVS. It was majority a Batman movie. So that's why I don't list BVS as a contender for Superman films, is because it's primarily a Batman movie and Superman is in it. Superman's like the guest star, so it doesn't feel like Man of Steel 2. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but it's not I don't see it as a Superman movie. And I've had many years to think about that, too. Because I was like, where would I put BVS as a Superman movie? It doesn't feel like it. It's a Batman movie. And Superman is in it. Just like, it would be hard for me, if they made a World's Finest movie, I don't know if I would give credit to Superman or if I'd give credit to Batman. It would be a team-up movie. So, it's kind of hard. Hi, Link. I thought that the guy who played Lex did a good job, but there are parts of the movie where his Lex gets really annoying. There are parts of it where he's very menacing and he's great. He's much better than the guy who was in BVS and Justice League or whatever. Like, this version of Lex is great. But he has elements that, to me, the superior Lex Luthor is still Smallville. Like, this Lex has moments of greatness, and a lot more moments of greatness than the guy from Facebook movie or whatever, who played Lex with the really annoying, like, I mean, that is still the worst Lex Luthor. But I don't think this guy is better than the dude who played Lex in Smallville. Like, that to me is still really good live-action Lex. But the pinnacle Lex Luthor for me will always be Superman the Animated Series and Justice League. Clancy Brown is Lex Luthor. Did I play Detective Pikachu? Yeah.
Careful, okay?
I need to figure a way out of this funhouse. This way, I guess. I mean, it says go this way. We're gonna try flying this time. That'll work. Yep, that worked. Come here, come all, enjoy a perfect view of the Banana Burger production line from the observation deck. Ding. Actually, scratch that. We halted Banana Burger production because of all the muck, but we hate to leave our guests hungry. If you're willing, you could take a tour of the factory and help us resume production at the same time. Exploring the grounds, ride some rides, and hit any burger switches you find along the way to start things back up again. There are burger switches in all. That's the first one. Okay, so they literally look like burger switches. Okay. Like, I like David's Superman. I just feel that there were some parts of David's Superman I didn't like. Like, I like the fact that he joked and stuff. It reminded me of Dean Cain, Christopher Reeves, and the Tim Daly Superman. Like, all those Supermen I like. And the Smallville guy, it's hard to count Tom Welling as Superman because Tommy, he had this very strict contract where he would not wear the Superman suit, ever. So, even though I grew to like Tom Welling as Clark Kent, I wanted to see him graduate as Superman because I think he would have been great. But there was stipulations in the 2000s with superhero shows that they didn't think it was cool for the superheroes to wear the costumes. And it's why a lot of superhero shows and movies from the 2000s, they're a little weird nowadays when you go back and watch them, because you're like, oh wow, this show has moments of greatness, and then it's just really dumb. That, to me, was Smallville. Lex was fantastic in that show, but Clark was kind of a goofball because, you know, he wouldn't put on a costume. And the actor was always very adamant, you know, I'm not dressing up, I'm not doing this. And Tom was a fan of the comics. It's just Tom and his PR agency and talent agency and the people who made the show, they were never going to have him be Superman. And even in the end, Tom just admitted that he didn't even wear the suit at the end. So he was at a Comic-Con recently, and he told people, like, what I had underneath my jacket when I tore off and ran to the camera, he says, I was wearing a Superman t-shirt based on Brandon Routh's Superman thing. He says, I wasn't even wearing the costume. I just had, like, kind of like a wife beater on underneath with the Superman logo, and I just opened up the shirt. I kind of wish he didn't tell people, because at least I thought he put on the costume and they just weren't going to show it. But nope, he didn't even do that. He was wearing a t-shirt. You know, it's like, you hate the character that much that you don't want to be Superman? It's just weird to me. But, again, there was this mindset that people and directors had in the 2000s is comic books are cool, but the costumes are stupid. Which is why the X-Men basically wore, like, biker costumes, biker outfits in the Fox X-Men movies. Black rubber, like, motorcycle jacket things. The films were great, like the first two, but they don't really work and stand the test of time because they just came out looking really goofy and weird. You know what I mean? Whereas nowadays, when you make a superhero movie, at least the characters wear the costumes. Whether the movie's good or bad, it doesn't matter. At least they put on the costume. In the 2000s, most superhero movies, they don't wear the costume. Fantastic Four being a rare exception. And Batman. Like, Batman at least wore a costume in the 2000s. Sort of. His, Nolan suit. But, a lot of superheroes did not. Even go back to the Logan stuff. Fans really wanted to see Logan dress up as, Wolverine in his solo movies. They teased the, suit in the Wolverine movie, but Hugh Jackman even said he was never going to wear it. Like, he did that as a little bit of fan service for people at the end of that, you know, Japanese, like, Wolverine movie. But he still had no plans to wear the suit. It's just the mindset of back then. It's kind of annoying.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I hope that DC sticks with this universe too, because I don't think it's a bad universe. I just think it was Thanksgiving. Like, I understand what James was doing, and maybe the Supergirl movie will be allowed to breathe more, because they introduced like 30 characters in this movie. And I wanted to like the characters, like all of them, but only a couple of them stuck out to me, like these are really great characters I want to see more of. And these are characters I want to see less of. I want to see less of Jimmy. I did not like Jimmy. Jimmy is a horn dog. Jimmy has a harem. I was like, what? Jimmy is not only a womanizer, but he's unlocked the harem route. He has all these like OnlyFans models after him, and it's so weird. It's Jimmy Olsen, for crying out loud. So it's James Gunn living his weird perversion through Jimmy Olsen. I don't know. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't have my gorilla power right now, but I see what you're saying. Let's start it again. Where is this guy hiding? Got it. You gotta be faster? Yeah, I know. Banana. Yep, we're back. So how do I get to these burger switches? Like, I can't even get to that burger switch. It's on the ground. Okay, there's the first one. Oh, you're literally gonna make a giant burger. Ah, but he didn't do very good. The lettuce is falling off the burger. I hate that. I love a very well-constructed burger. Everything has to be symmetrical. I hate it when I'm eating a burger and it falls apart and I have to fix it with my hands. Ugh. That's so irritating. That's actually bothering me. I do have OCD, so, like, the lettuce like that would just really annoy me. But yeah, I don't want people to think that I hated the Superman movie. I just have notes with it. Like, I would see it again if I was able to, but I'm not able to see it again. It won't be around for me to see it. And I'm not seeing Fantastic Four because I've heard horrible things about that. So, Superman was the better July movie. The only other movie that I'm going to go personally see is The Naked Gun, because that looks really funny. So, I really enjoyed what they showed with the trailer. That kind of sold me. I was like, yeah, I'll go see that. But I think that's about it for all the movies that I'm going to go to theaters. It was just Superman this year and the Naked Gun movie. I can't think of any other movies that I'd be going to this year. I might be able to make that. I'm not really doing this a conventional way. I'm kind of doing this my way, so I tend to be pretty stubborn about things. I don't think the burger switches really matter what order I do them in. Maybe they do, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Oh, excuse me. Oops. Oh no, I wasn't paying attention, a little lazy. Yeah, I didn't like Creature Commandos. I wanted to like it. But yeah, a lot of people forget that James Gunn's Creature Commandos is technically the first in this new universe. But that movie, or that mini-sodes, or whatever you want to call it, it had room to breathe. Like, the characters weren't all, like, compacted together. Like, I really wanted to like David's Superman a lot. But I feel like other characters kind of, like, stole the show in his own movie. Like, Mr. Terrific was spot on. And I really started to like David's Superman near the end. When he's fighting, like, that, you know, other superpowered guy at the end of the movie. I was like, alright, he's a fun Superman. And I like the levity that he's doing and some of this other stuff. But, like, Mr. Terrific, every scene he was in was just terrific. I liked his reasoning for doing the superhero stuff, and, you know, he had a very different approach to stuff than Clark did. And I don't know, I liked it more. I didn't think, I know the Justice Gang isn't in the movie very long, but for me, they were really good. Like, I really liked their role in the movie, and I like how, out of all the characters, it feels like the Justice Gang actually has character progression, and they're a big part of the movie, even if you don't think they are. There's one scene in the movie where you actually see them handling a intergalactic threat in the background while Superman is drinking hot cocoa, and if you pay attention to how they're fighting in the background, it's actually a very comedic scene, especially Guy Gardner, like, using different, like, Green Lantern constructs in the background. It was really funny. As opposed to their first battle where they're, you know, kind of ruthless. So they have character progression as it goes on. And Superman, unfortunately, is the same beginning and the end with his character, but he is a likable Superman. He reminded me of, like, Brandon Routh's Superman. I really liked Brandon Routh's Superman was a great Superman in a bad Superman movie. David's Superman is a good Superman in an okay Superman movie. So, I think that David has a lot of potential to become a great Superman, but I need to see more of his Superman in other DC projects before, you know, I can come to a clearer decision. Yeah, this is a great Superman. I think that James Gunn should give us a Superman video game with David as the lead Superman. Like, I think David should have a Superman game. I think that would really make a lot of Superman fans happy because David understands the role of Superman. And his voice is a perfect Superman. He's got that, like, very deep voice like Henry Cavill has. Like, that really just is a great Superman voice.
Boy's company made that thing. I wonder if he's here too.
Yeah, no, Mr. Terrific's in Fortnite. I hope to do a Fortnite stream of Mr. Terrific this week. Like this weekend. Excuse me. Stronger lungs. I don't care. I don't even use the zebra. Can I get more hearts? What can I do? I don't really use that. Maybe that. Anything else? Banana energy? Okay. Now, does it matter what order you do these in? Guess we'll find out. Whoa! That burger's all messed up, yo. My OCD's going in overdrive. Please no. Okay. It's messy. Ugh. Yep, I got another heart. Yeah, but that's just where I am. You know, other people might have had a different experience with the movie. I think it's a good movie. I just don't think it's like the amazing Superman movie that people were pointing out. It's better than Brandon Routh's movie, and it has elements that are better than Henry Cavill's, but it's not one of the best Superman movies ever. But it's going in the right direction. I like the tone, and I like where this universe is heading, and I like some of the characters in this universe already. I like Corn Sweet as Superman. I like Mr. Terrific. I like Guy Gardner. I can't believe I said that. I like Hawkgirl. I like Lois. I like Lex. I like Metamorpho. I don't like Jimmy. I do not like Jimmy. I've never not liked Jimmy, so this is new for me. Jimmy reminds me of a character. Have you guys seen... Have you seen the anime One Fell Over the Cuckoo's Nest? I can't stand the protagonist in that harem because he's such a jerk. Jimmy Olsen reminds me of him. So I don't like him. Yeah, I think it's called One Fell Over the Cuckoo's Nest is the name. Yeah, a couple of cuckoos. The main antagonist, the main character of A Couple of Cuckoos is just an unlikable main character, and he has like really annoying main character energy, and he's just leading on like 4 girls. That's Jimmy Olsen. Never heard of that anime? It's on its 2nd season. They just introduced a 4th girl into his harem. The show was starting, like, I can explain that show to you. Pretty much, A Couple of Cuckoos has to do with, it's a arranged marriage, show. I hated what they did to Superman's parents, but I'm gonna save that for my review. They did the same thing to Batman, though. It's a very normal trait right now that DC likes to villainize the parents of both Batman and Superman. I hate it, especially Superman's parents. I think that's really stupid to do that, but I mean, they're gonna do that. It's a fad right now. That's what the 2020s do. They villainize the parents, and then they build up the foster or the adoptive parents into, like, you know, in a whole different light. Like, my favorite Martha and Jonathan Kent are from Lois and Clark. The New Adventures of Superman in the 90s. Because that Clark Kent grew up with this disdain for his Kryptonian parents. Kind of like what they did in Smallville, where, you know, Superman's parents were Martha and Jonathan. He didn't really care about his Kryptonian heritage. It was a part of him, and he was going to try to do good and stuff like that, but he wasn't... The fact that this Superman was so obsessed with his dead parents when he had his... He had this energy whenever his parents called him that he looked annoyed when he was talking to his parents. And I also didn't like how they made Jonathan and Martha Kent like dumb hicks. Like, Jonathan and Martha are usually very, like, not just loving parents, but they're normal Americans. James Gunn's perception of the Midwest is kind of insulting. They made Jonathan and Martha really stupid. I don't like that. I think they're very sweet people in the movie, but I don't like how they gave them that stereotypical stupid white people energy from people who live in the South or the Midwest. I think that was going a bit too far, but that's the stereotype with if you're a nice person and you're white, then you're stupid. That's what Hollywood has done in the 2020s. That's their way of, you know, taking it to the man or whatever. So, yeah. That had that energy. But what I liked about Lois and Clark is, in the 90s, Superman's parents were just doting parents. Martha was a little overprotective of her son, and Jonathan was this, like, authority figure that's a farmer. But at the same time, he's not getting invested in his son's life too much. You know, he runs a farm, he takes care of his wife, and the only time they visit Clark in the 90s show is a couple times where the world is about to end. There's an episode in the 90s Lois and Clark show where Superman ends up getting amnesia because, just like this movie, they downscaled Superman's abilities to make him more likable. Because, let's face it, a god-tier Superman like Henry Cavill doesn't really resonate well with people. So the really successful Superman shows and movies are ones where Superman's power is, for the most part, downscaled. Same thing in cartoons. The reason why a lot of you guys like Superman the Animated Series is Superman is a character that struggles a lot when you watch him fight. Like, he gets his butt kicked a lot because they downscaled him, or rather, they gave that Superman mental blocks so that he wouldn't hurt anybody. Like, he is purposely pulling his punches like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man or something like that. He's doing it on purpose. And as you get to watch the animated series, over time you see that Superman was living in a world of cardboard. And the very last episode of Justice League Unlimited, you see Superman finally cut loose, which is an amazing moment. There's a great build-up for that over a decade, right? Same thing in Lois and Clark. Lois and Clark, Superman is perceived weak, but, you know, he also has insane moments of strength. Like, he flies up and he attacks a continent that is hurtling toward the Earth, a meteorite, that is the size or bigger than the meteorite that wiped out the dinosaurs. So the Earth was going to be destroyed. All human life would end in Lois and Clark, right? So Superman goes up to space, and he's never done this feat before in the TV show. And he blows up the meteorite, and then he ends up crashing back to Earth, and he gets amnesia. So his parents haven't heard from him in a while, so his parents come and visit him, and they're so relieved to see that Superman is okay, but Clark Kent doesn't know who he is. He doesn't remember being Superman. And then over the course of the whatever, hour episode, they're helping Clark regain who he is because there's a chunk of the meteorite that survived, you know, Superman impacting with it. And, you know, Superman has to save the day. The problem is he doesn't remember how to fly. He doesn't, you know, that's why I like, to this day, I think Lois and Clark is a fantastic Superman show that a lot of people need to give, you know, more credit to, because the Superman cartoon show borrowed a lot of elements from the Lois and Clark show. Even James Gunn's Superman borrows a lot of elements from Dean Cain's Superman. You know, because that's a likable Superman. Even though Christopher Reeves was the movie Superman, for me as a kid, Dean Cain was Superman. I really liked him. I also liked, as a Batman fan, he threw in a lot of Batman references, even though Batman never showed up in the show. There's like 4 or 5 references where he says Batman's name in the show. When they, you know, couldn't have Batman in the show, obviously, but he made a couple mentions to the 4 different Batman. Keaton, Kilmer, Adam West, things like that. So I like those, you know. He used the word Cape Crusader, Dark Knight, Batman specifically. His mom says she doesn't want him running around jumping off rooftops like that nut in Gotham, you know? It felt like there was world building even though we never got to see the Justice League and stuff, because that just wasn't a thing in the 90s. It didn't happen until the cartoon show. All the superhero shows were separate. The Flash, Superman, the Batman movies, it was all separated. You guys are very lucky to have superhero media where your characters can interact the way they do in the comic books, because us kids in the 90s, it didn't happen like that. You would be lucky if you got an Easter egg reference. I'm being 100% serious, too. Because they didn't ever show up in each other's shows. And they should have. I think that it would have been great to see Dean Cain hang out on the Flash show from the 90s, or, you know, to get more of those superheroes. They tried to make a live-action Justice League pilot called Justice League... not action. Justice League of America, JLA. And the show was really bad. They basically used Guy Gardner, but he was dressed like Kyle Rayner. It was really hokey, and it didn't make it past the pilot. I think it came out in 1994 or 1995. But it was really hokey. It didn't have that DC energy. So count your blessings, ladies and gentlemen, that you didn't grow up when I grew up with superhero content, because outside of, like, cartoon shows, you were not going to get massive collaborations of superheroes. It just wasn't a thing. And Joseph can tell you, too, because Joseph was around back then. And some other people in the chat know what I'm talking about. Alright, we gotta work quick. Oh, nope, that's right. I'm gonna run out. No! Oh my god. Yep, he's a fan of Tom King. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I appreciate the Superman movie for what it was. And like I said, it's a step in the right direction. It really, truly is. It's just, I think, you guys probably don't use this term, but we used to use a term called too many cooks in the kitchen. There's just too many characters that doesn't give, like, the movie's plot room to breathe. And you have to remember, you guys are from a generation where you don't mind so many characters in your movie. In fact, you like to see all these different cameos and stuff, but when you're overstuffing a movie just for essentially, like, you know, few-minute cameos, the plot suffers. So that's what happened with the Superman movie. The reason why people didn't like the Brandon Routh Superman movie, the man fought a giant kryptonite island. He didn't fight a foe that was on the same level as him, like in Superman Legacy. I don't like that they called the movie Superman. I wish they called it Superman Legacy, because it felt like it was a furthering of his legacy. I don't like calling it Superman. Because when I think Superman, I think Christopher Reeve. And I'm not even from the 70s. I was born in the 80s. But Superman, to me, will always be the... You know. But the problem I had with the the Superman Returns movie is it's not that Brandon was a bad Superman. He was a great Superman in a bad movie. Like a really bad movie. And the thing with David is David has a enemy. He has two enemies that are very dangerous. And it's a threat that actually makes the movie very compelling to watch. Because there are high stakes. You feel those high stakes. Because it's a downscaled Superman. He really, you know, you really feel... For me, it was like experiencing a 2-hour episode of the Superman the Animated Series, but not quite to the caliber of Superman the Animated Series. It was close. It was like... If a Superman Animated Series episode was made today, that's how it would go. But it's still not as good as it was in the 90s. The writing... James Gunn is better than most directors today, but the man can't hold a candle to somebody like Dwayne McDuffie or Bruce Timm or Paul Dini or David Wise. Any of those people would, like, write him under the table. Like, they're just really good at writing superheroes. He's good at writing superheroes for live-action movies, but there are still parts of his writing style that I cannot stand. And, you know, any day of the week, Superman the Animated Series just completely floors live-action James Gunn Superman. It's not even a contest. The writing, the stories, the music, the characters. It's like you're watching a mini-movie just like the animated series. Now, Batman the Animated Series is way better than Superman the Animated Series. But the way that they handle each of the episodes in Superman was great. Even for, you know, episodes I wasn't a huge fan of, I thought they did a great job with what they had, which was 22 minutes to tell a story. And there were some really interesting stories from Superman the Animated Series. Like Superman saving a man on death row who was innocent. And, you know, Clark Kent getting blown up. And his identity, you know, having to be taken off the table, so to speak, because, like, if somebody sees him surface as Superman when Clark Kent's car just blew up, you know, Superman had to think outside the box to bring Clark back to life and a lot of stuff. And the entire story was about saving a man who was wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't commit. And this was, you know, this is a 90s kids show. And that kind of stuff was just better written than James Gunn stuff. I like James Gunn's superhero movies, but they're not some of my favorite. I enjoy watching them, but I don't like, you know... I watched them once, and it's like, that was fun, but I don't want to see it again. I want to see the Superman movie again. I just don't know when I'll get to see it. That's where I am. I don't like the confusingness of this. It's a fun theme park, but... I don't even know why they want me to throw this stuff, to be honest. Like, where do you want me to throw this stuff? Alright, I'm gonna have to find another way to get to some of this stuff. Okay, we're gonna think outside the box. Now, can I get off this whenever I want? No. No. So, okay, yes, I can. Oh, good. Okay, that's easier. Alright, so we need to go up there again. Okay, let's do it. Ding. I like that they let you do these burgers, like, however you want. Like, you're not... This is the difference between a great game and a mediocre game. Is they give you freedom. Like, they're not like, okay, you have to do it in this order. They're like, okay, you need to kill these switches, but you don't have to necessarily do it in the order that we want you to do it. We want you to do it in the order that is going to work for your play style. Nintendo is really great at doing that kind of stuff. Shoot! Ah! And now I'm not even back in that part again, am I? That's where the next burger switch is. Okay, good, I am here. That's annoying. There we go. Okay, next one.
2 more burger switches.
Sorry about that. Alright, so where's the next one? See, I don't understand where this one is. This one looks like it's under the ground or something. So I need to do something to get that to appear. But the other switch is up there somehow. So I want to try to go there first. Da, 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 da. And there's lots of things to get distracted with here, too. Compared to, like, there's a lot of flashy stuff in this game. Okay, I see now. So they want you to be the bird. Okay. Yeah, exactly. But I can understand what DC was doing. But I think the movie... Like, Lex's Goon Squad... I don't think they needed to be in the movie as much. Like, that's like 15 or 20 more characters that we don't really need. And I appreciate that Lex gave them an important job to do, but I feel they popped up in the movie too much. Like, 1 or 2 henchmen is all you need, when already you have, like, the Justice Gang, all the Daily Planet characters, you have the U.S. government characters, you have Lois and Clark, you have the Justice Gang, you've got other superheroes. Again, there's not enough... For a 3-hour movie, maybe, but... The reason why films like Lord of the Rings were so successful is you had all these characters, right, that you met, but you met them along the journey. Like, when you went to a different part of the continent, you ran into more characters. Like, the elves are specifically in this part, and the dwarves are in this part, or the City of Man is in this part, and they're fending off the orcs in this part. They meet the tree ents, and you know, it has structure. James Gunn movie is like... I don't even know if you guys had art class in grade school, but in the 90s, tie-dye was a very big thing. Like, it was making a comeback, and it was very popular in arts and crafts. And your teacher would basically tell you to take a canvas and take all these paints and just squish them all over the place on your picture to make art. That's what this Superman movie for me was like. It's like James is taking all these different colors, and he makes a beautiful painting, but how he gets there is sloppy. Does that make sense? Like, we used to count that as art in the 90s, like in grade school. Like, you would take tons of finger paints, and you would, like, make, I don't know, like, turkeys or something. No. Alright, now we gotta fly. What? I thought I had to fly here. This is a very confusing level. I can't fly with salt. Well, maybe I can somehow fly over here. They're not expecting you to somehow throw the salt all the way over here, are they? Oh. Wait, what? I don't think that the movie is bad again. I just think, like, the people that I've talked to, they've had to see the movie multiple times before they really liked it. like, how I'm viewing it right now is, you know when you see a really fun summer movie, it was a fun experience, and you're like, wow, that felt like a summer blockbuster. But it doesn't, like, you don't take anything home from it. You're just like, you're home, and as you're home, after you see the movie, parts of the film just kind of, like, dissipate in your mind. Like, I really should have wrote a outline for the movie, because I can't remember certain parts of it, because it's just like, I don't really remember it. Because there were so many moments in the movie that just kind of, like, fly by so fast. The moments that I remember and like, really, like, digested in a way that was like, okay, that was cool, was all Mr. Terrific stuff. He has an arc from the beginning, the middle, and the end, and even a post-credit scene that works. Like, he's the breakaway character for me. Whereas Superman, who's supposed to be the star of the movie, he doesn't really have a character journey. And even though I didn't like Brandon Routh's Superman movie, he has a journey in it. And it has to do with, you know, him and his relationship with his son. It's awkward at the beginning, things change by the end, and it's a very hopeful, optimistic Superman again. You know, for a future installment that we never got because the Superman curse. Which, it feels like David has broken the Superman curse because everybody is saying great things about his Superman. Which is great because we'll see more of him. David is a Superman that we need to see more of. That's how this Superman is going to have legs, is we have to see more of him. That's why I don't like when James is saying, what's Superman 2? It's like, you need to give him a sequel. You can't just rush him to other team-up movies and things like that. He needs to have his second movie because that's what went wrong with Henry Cavill. He never got Man of Steel 2. He went right into ensemble movies, and, I mean, I don't want to upset Snyder fans, but Henry Cavill's Superman was rushed for the ensemble pictures. It needed time to develop. Batman v Superman was one thing, but Justice League should not have happened right after. Should have gone right into the Batman and Wonder Woman solo movies, and then Justice League a year or two later. Let Superman's death resonate with people. You know, make the impact of his death not be cleared up in the next movie so quickly. Have it show impact to other characters in their substantial films. Like, Aquaman's movie should have dealt with the death of Superman. And, you know, Batman's movie should have had, like, some type of thing. Wonder Woman's movie, The Flash, all that stuff. And then you build up to Justice League later. Everything was just too rushed. At least, with David's Superman movie, I feel that they're at a great place where they could introduce a Justice League because they have a cast of likable characters and actors that people are ready for a new Justice League movie. And I might be wrong in saying that, but I feel like a Justice League of America with Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, and Superman could work really well, actually, because I think those guys work really well as a team. And I think other people also share my sentiment with that. I don't know why you wouldn't. If I had to give it a number, I don't know. I have to put all my thoughts out. I have to outline my stuff before I come with a number. Right now I'm just kind of rambling on parts I remember, sort of, but not, like, giving too much away. Like, I've mostly just been talking about, like, James's film style compared to other Superman directors and stuff like that. I haven't really been talking about, like, actual plot points.
That makes 4. Final burger switch, here we come.
Yeah, he needs a second Superman movie. Either his Superman because he's so likable and friendly. We need to see his Superman more showing up in other people's movies, or he needs his sequel, because there is things that happen in this movie that change the Superman mythos that's going to impact the whole Gods and Monsters arc that they need to really follow up on. you can't have that be a throwaway part of the movie. Like, that has to have meaning. It can't just be like, oh, well, that was just for the Superman story. It's like, no, because that would impact all Kryptonians. You need to, you know, you need to focus on that more. Where the heck is this hamburger thing? Did I already do it? Alright. Hey, guys, do you know how to get the last hamburger thing? Because this stream has gone on for quite a while, and I need to get to the next one. Plus, I need to take a break and, like, check to see how my heart's doing, because I'm feeling a little dizzy. And I don't want to worry Amber. But, I'm not, like, thinking super clear, because I've had 3 heart scares in, like, 1 week. So it's like, I'm not really paying attention to the games as much as I normally do. Because I'm using the game as a distraction to get away from my problems, like my heart, you know, my heart concerns. And I'm just not able to clearly think how to solve problems and stuff like that. I know there's a switch nearby that's somehow under the ground, but I don't know how to get to it. You have to get on a minecart. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Batman. I have a feeling that somehow James realizes he needs to rush the next Batman movie, not Matt Reeves' Batman. So Wonder Woman and Batman are going to be greenlit so fast. I bet you by the end of the year, we'll know who's playing Batman. And they'll start filming James Gunn's Batman movie, like, sometime in 2026. Like, they're based on what happened with Superman, which, again, is not bad. Like, 400 million in 2 weeks is not bad, but that's not blockbuster numbers. Like, I don't care what they're trying to adjust. That's not good for a superhero movie. Just like Marvel last year was saying, oh, this movie got 200 or 300,000 or 300 million. It's a hit. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. If it's a hit, it makes 800, 900, or a billion. If it's so-so, it makes 600. Which is funny because people said, you know, Man of Steel was so bad because it made 600 and BVS made 800. It's still more than most of the DC movies over the past, like, decade. And then when those movies underperform, they're like, well, it's still better than Man of Steel and all this other stuff. But it's like, realistically, those movies made more than your movie, though. And you're still dumping on it, even though your movie didn't get anywhere close to that. Oh, yeah, can't do that. Supergirl's gonna be fighting Jason Momoa. He's already leaked it. If you went to his Instagram, he's holding a script for Supergirl. His Aquaman's not showing up in her movie. He's playing Lobo. Like, Supergirl is gonna be a very problematic character, so she's gonna run into Lobo, and they're gonna have some nasty fights, which I'm all for that. I think, you know, Supergirl being, like, a very, like, rebellious teenager that she's going to have to mature in her movie, you know, I'm on board for that. That sounds like fun. And Jason Momoa is a villain. I think he plays great villains, so I think that's all win. You know? Dig deep on the deep frying grease? What do you mean? The problem is, there are people that can't accept criticism when it comes to, you know, I'm not like, there are people here that probably be like, well, you're blasting Superman. I'm not really blasting it. I'm just having a discussion about, like, what went wrong with it, but, like, at the same time not spoiling the movie and just talking about, like, director approach and things like that. And even in my review, I'm not going to be mean-spirited toward the movie because I did like what I saw. It's just, I felt like there were certain aspects of the movie they could have handled better because it does feel like they're kind of making the same mistakes that the DCU made in the past. Not as much, but it's there. It's, like, subtle. Welcome to the Feast Lair. We'll help you restart your famous banana burger production. If so, in the direction of those, our shaped arrows will point you forward. Okay, so how do I get... If the thing is inside of there, how do I get in there without getting burned? I'm guessing this is a deep fryer? Yeah. Like, this is literally... This is supposed to be a deep fryer for fries. Still saying it's underneath me somehow. Ah! Ah, so you think I'm passionate about the movie. Okay, I haven't heard that yet, but I appreciate that. I did enjoy what I saw. It's just afterwards it got me thinking about stuff. And my theater experience was sullied by that witch. The drunk witch at the theater just did not help. I couldn't concentrate as much. Are they gonna lead me to the rail that I need to go to? That's the sandwich, but where's the supposed, like, roller coaster that leads to it? What direction, guys? Do I go where this arrow is pointing me, or is this not the right way? No, I don't think I can teleport. Are these arrows leading me to the final switch or the final roller coaster? Like, what's going on? Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to point me in the right direction. Alright, thank you, Leroy. I think the arrow is going to lead me somewhere else. But I mean, we got 1,000 views, so I think I want to continue this on the next episode. This is just a very confusing section for me because I'm having problems with my heart right now. So I'm not thinking clear as I usually am when I do walkthroughs and stuff like that, because I've had a lot of pain lately. Like, I've already been to this roller coaster, so this is not right. So I'm gonna watch Leroy's clip, and we'll end up finishing Donkey Kong on the next one, I think. Yeah, I have to watch it anyway. I need to get the next stream started. Yep, thank you, Leroy. I appreciate that, buddy. Alright, so, I'm kind of done talking about Superman now. So I'll be, you know, have a more concise video in the coming days. But that's just my initial impressions of, like, the theater experience of it. And it was not a good theater experience, too. Oh yeah, this is a contender for Game of the Year for me, but I gotta get the next stream started, guys, so I'll see you in the next one, okay? And thank you, Leroy, for sending me the video. That'll help finish things off. Alright, see you guys on the next one.